Surprising new research now proves that we have two different kinds of fat in our bodies. I call them hero fat and villain fat. You already know about villain fat. Villain fat is the fat we hate to see in the mirror. It clings to our face, our stomachs, and our hips. It ruins our health, saps us of our energy, and makes us look older than we really are. Often, villain fat can cut our lives short too. It's connected with heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and more. We now know that there's also hero fat. As you'd expect, hero fat is the opposite of villain fat. In fact, hero fat looks and acts more like muscle. And hero fat not only fights villain fat, it eats the stuff up. So, over time, hero fat rids our bodies of all the bad fat and the damage it can do. This might sound like something out of a superhero movie, but it's not science fiction. As science has now proven, there's a tiny bit of hero fat inside all of us. I can show you exactly where it is. It's right here in your neck and in your shoulders. All we have to do is wake it up and let it do its job. When we do, weight management takes care of itself without the struggle. Hero fat puts an end to the grueling exercise many of us find fruitless, and it puts a stop to the crazy yo-yo dieting too. Just wake your hero fat up and let it save the day. I'm going to prove to you right here in this presentation that it's as simple as that. All I ask is that you suspend your disbelief long enough for me to show you the evidence in plain black and white. My name is Christina Wilds, and what I'm really talking about here is brown fat. And as I'll show you in a moment, brown fat and white fat are like night and day. Brown fat acts a lot more like a muscle than the fat you may be used to. And while we all have at least a little brown fat, babies have lots of it. So some people call brown fat baby muscle. Other people call it hero fat because it's fat that saves the day. And some scientists call it dark cells because the coloring of brown fat cells is dark. No matter what you call it, the discovery of brown fat is a watershed moment in history. Brown fat is a health powerhouse. You see, brown fat cells are jam-packed with mitochondria, and mitochondria are the cell's power plants. They produce energy for your heart, your brain, and the rest of your whole body. As you'll see in a moment, it's what brown fat cells burn that's such an exciting discovery. White fat cells store energy in the form of more fat, but brown fat cells are different. Brown fat cells burn energy and give off heat. This process is called thermogenesis. Thermogenesis is the reason babies don't shiver. Babies have lots of brown fat. They have it on their necks, chests, backs, and butts. And the brown fat gives off energy and keeps them warm. It's the same with animals that hibernate too. It's the brown fat that keeps them warm through the winter. So even though babies don't hibernate, they stay warm the same way. But they lose most of their brown fat in the first few years. Until, as we become adults, we have hardly any of this stuff left at all. What little brown fat we have left is in our neck and shoulders. And as it turns out, this dwindling amount of brown fat is a big problem if keeping a healthy weight is important to you. You see, brown fat doesn't just burn extra calories all on its own. It needs a source of fuel to do that. So brown fat burns white fat. Yes, brown fat literally eats away the fat that sags on our bellies, hips, and butts and turns that fat into heat. Brown fat is like a wood furnace that you can just keep tossing more fuel into. It's super efficient. In fact, if you had enough brown fat, there's no way you'd gain weight. You could stay thin as a rail without a ton of exercise or counting calories. You might be wondering, if brown fat feeds off of white fat, then how is anybody overweight? Why doesn't our brown fat just eat the white fat like it's supposed to? That's a great question. And the answer is this. The brown fat we have on our bodies is dormant. It has to be activated to work. There are only two ways to activate brown fat. The first may be the simplest, but it's not something that most people can handle. If you go out in spring-like weather wearing a t-shirt and shorts, you'll activate your brown fat. Don't think it's something you can just do once, though. In one study, researchers took a group of healthy weight people and they put the people into a room that was 63 degrees Fahrenheit. They made those people stay in the room for 2 hours every day. And over 6 weeks, they lost 5% of their body fat. 5% is a lot when you consider the people didn't cut back on eating or do any extra exercise. Another study showed that we burn an average of 410 calories for every 2 hours spent in the cold. At that rate, you'd lose 42 pounds in a year without making any other changes. That's what I call revving up your metabolism. There's only one problem. Who wants to sit in a cold room 2 hours a day? There is a way to shortcut the process, though. You can take a 30-minute cold shower every day. I don't know about you, but there's no way I'm going to jump out of a warm bed to get into a cold shower for 30 minutes. Luckily, there's an even better way to activate your brown fat. We all have a protein inside of us called thermogenin. Thermogenin activates brown fat, and it boosts your metabolic rate in the process. No cold showers needed. But thermogenin can be blocked by another protein in our body, MKK6. Spanish scientists at the Centro Nacional de Investigaciones Cardiovasculares Carlo III CNIC in Madrid studied a group of overweight people, and they discovered that they all had higher levels of MKK6. MKK6 is the protein that blocks thermogenin from activating brown fat. So if you've ever struggled to maintain a healthy weight, it may not be your fault. You might have elevated levels of MKK6, which blocks thermogenin from activating brown fat. The good news is, all we have to do is unblock the thermogenin. When we do, it activates your brown fat. Even though you might not have a lot of brown fat, it only takes a little to be effective. You see, brown fat not only burns white fat, it converts some white fat into brown fat too. So once your brown fat is active, you begin to lose weight. It's a little slow in the first couple of weeks, but it picks up like a snowball, and before long, your weight returns to normal. No extra exercise or counting calories needed. That's exactly why I've prepared this video presentation for you today. As I mentioned earlier, I'm Christina Wilds. I'm a global health researcher. I'm part of a company that's on the cutting edge of natural health news, and we've helped tens of thousands of people lose weight naturally. When I first read the reports about brown fat, I was ecstatic. I knew that some people have revved up metabolisms, and they could handle anything life throws at them, and some people didn't have those kind of metabolisms. Now I know why. Those people that seem so lucky have lower levels of MKK6. That's why they can eat whatever they want and they stay thin. And the people who always struggle to maintain a healthy weight, they have higher levels of MKK6. All we needed to figure out was how to lower MKK6 or how to get more thermogenin. Either way would activate your brown fat. Luckily, as I'll show you in a moment, scientists have already figured out how to do this. But before I tell you what the scientists discovered, I want to make something perfectly clear. I'm not saying that you should stop exercising. Exercise is good for your heart. And I'm not saying that when your brown fat is activated, you should eat junk food all the time. That stuff's still rotten for your health. I am saying that it should be much easier for you to maintain your weight than it's likely been so far. And the difference is simply activating your brown fat. As I mentioned, scientists have already figured out how to do that. My research led me to a natural pigment called fucoxanthin. Fucoxanthin is the organic substance that makes brown seaweed brown. As seaweed floats along the surface of the ocean, fucoxanthin is what protects the seaweed from burning. It's used in miso soup and in some seaweed salads too. The first study I saw involved scientists from Hokkaido University in Sapporo, Japan. The scientists took 200 overweight rats and mice, and they fed them fucoxanthin. What happened next shocked the scientists. The rats and mice lost up to 10% of their body weight in short order just by supplementing with the fucoxanthin. Losing 10% of your body weight is a lot. It's like a 200-pound man slimming down to 180 without dieting or extra exercise. How did the fucoxanthin help them lose so much weight? Fucoxanthin increased their thermogenin levels, and the thermogenin activated their brown fat. Scientists use rats and mice for experiments like these because generally humans can be expected to have similar results. But that's not always the case. So I was even more excited about what I saw fucoxanthin do for humans. Right after the Japanese study, 2 Russian studies on fucoxanthin came out. In one study, the Russian scientists took 150 obese women and divided them into 2 groups. Both groups were given a controlled diet of 1,800 calories per day. That's strict enough for most people to start to lose a little weight. One group was also given fucoxanthin while the other was given a placebo. In 16 weeks, the placebo group lost a measly 3 pounds. The fucoxanthin group lost 14.5 pounds. That's almost 5 times the weight loss, and the only difference was the fucoxanthin. If they had extended that study to a full year and that same rate held, the fucoxanthin group would have lost almost 50 pounds. The experimental group also raised their metabolic rate by an average of 18.2%. Some raised their metabolic rates by a shocking 24%. There are a lot of numbers in these studies, and it might sound confusing. So let me put this in perspective for you. Green tea raises your metabolism by just 4%. As we just learned, fucoxanthin raises it by up to 24%. So fucoxanthin can be 600% more effective at jolting your metabolism than green tea. And even better, while fucoxanthin revs your metabolism, it doesn't cause any jitters or lost sleep. None of this means you should go out and eat more miso soup or brown seaweed salads. Why? Because it's difficult for the body to absorb fucoxanthin from seaweed directly, and you'd literally have to eat piles of the stuff to get the benefits. Instead, if you're looking to rev your metabolism by an amazing 24%, you should supplement with the right dosage of high-quality fucoxanthin instead. Look specifically for bladderwrack. Bladderwrack is a specific type of brown seaweed that's high in fucoxanthin. Now, you can buy bladderwrack at many pharmacies and natural health stores, but as you'll see, that's the last thing you'll want to do. There are a few important things you have to watch out for when buying supplements locally. You have to be sure you're getting the right product in the right dosage, and you have to be sure you're actually getting what's on the label. In 2015, New York's Attorney General issued cease and desist orders to Walmart, GNC, Target, and Walgreens. Those cease and desist orders were in response to complaints that those companies were selling products that did not contain what was on their labels. The cease and desist letters used phrases like, "No St. John's wort DNA was identified," and "No plant genetic material of any sort was identified in the product labeled echinacea." In other words, what it said on the label is not what was in the bottle. And as it turns out, the manufacturers were substituting contaminants and fillers for herbs and minerals. If you can't trust Walmart, GNC, Target, and Walgreens, I'd say it's not safe to buy bladderwrack locally. Luckily, these cease and desist orders turned out to be a good thing. They spurred us on to do something about these false claims. We knew that we needed to help our customers find supplements that they could trust. So it was in response to this crisis that our company, Sacred Origins, partnered up with a high-quality manufacturer to help us produce our own nutritional supplements. After all, we have hundreds of thousands of people who depend on us for cutting-edge nutritional advice. We couldn't let them be scammed by manufacturers who were putting fillers in their supplements. And since we knew how beneficial the fucoxanthin-filled bladderwrack is, we used it as the basis of our very first supplement, MetaboSwift. By itself, bladderwrack is powerful for activating your brown fat and firing up your metabolism. But there are some other natural substances that can boost your health and help you reach your goals even faster. Take vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 has been shown to boost both energy levels and promote weight loss. Unless you're a vegan, you probably get vitamin B12 from shellfish, meat, poultry, eggs, and dairy, but you probably don't get enough. And as we get older, we aren't able to absorb vitamin B12 nearly as well. Plus, a lot of medications interfere with your ability to absorb it properly. It's for these reasons that we added vitamin B12 to MetaboSwift. Next, we added the elements copper, iodine, manganese, magnesium, selenium, and molybdenum. These minerals do a bunch of good stuff for us. They support absorption. They're good for our immune system. They're chock full of antioxidants too. But their primary purpose is to help keep the thyroid gland functioning properly. Your thyroid gland is a butterfly-shaped gland at the front of your neck. It produces hormones that control the speed of your metabolism. If you have hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism, these minerals probably won't help, and you should seek advice from your doctor. But if you're just wanting to make sure your thyroid is running optimally along with your metabolism, then it's a good idea to make sure you're getting enough of these minerals. As you can see, MetaboSwift is a powerhouse supplement already. But we didn't stop there. We also added L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine is an amino acid. Amino acids are used in every function in your body, so they're extremely important. In particular, L-tyrosine is used by your cells to synthesize protein. It supports your brain, lowers blood pressure and stress, and it also promotes a strong sense of well-being. Next, we added Schizandra. Schizandra is a red berry found in northern China, Russia, and parts of Korea. If you haven't heard of Schizandra before, that's because it's not easy to come by, but it was well worth finding a reliable, reputable source. Schizandra lowers inflammation. It also helps you balance your hormones naturally. It's a stress killer, and it helps with digestion. Schizandra protects your skin, improves mental performance, and helps with healthy sexual function. There's no such thing as a miracle food, but if there were, Schizandra would be it. And that's why I insisted it be a part of the MetaboSwift formula as well. Next, we added ashwagandha root. Ashwagandha means the smell of a horse in Sanskrit. In other words, it makes you strong as a horse. It's also called Indian ginseng. And the biggest thing it does for you is to help stabilize your blood sugar. You see, when your blood sugar is up and down, you get cravings to eat more sugar. But when you take ashwagandha, your blood sugar evens out. And so those cravings go away. Think of how much easier it will be to lose the weight when your brown fat is activated, your metabolism is fired up, and you're not having to deal with cravings. Ashwagandha also protects your immune system, helps combat stress, lowers cholesterol, and it'll even make you friskier in bed. Let's move on to cayenne pepper. You probably have cayenne pepper in your pantry at home, but it's not something you want to eat on its own, especially in large quantities. We added cayenne pepper because it is a natural detoxifier. It helps lower cholesterol and prevent heart disease, but it also supports weight loss too. It boosts your metabolism, it suppresses your hunger, and normalizes blood sugar levels as well. Plus, it's a natural anti-inflammatory. The last nutrient we added to MetaboSwift is kelp. Kelp is another seaweed, but it doesn't have fucoxanthin in it. It does still rev up the metabolism though, thanks to it being a strong source of iodine. Iodine can kick up a sluggish metabolism, and it can be used in combination with bladder wrack. So there you have it. The ingredients found in MetaboSwift are a powerhouse combination designed to rev your metabolism and help you effortlessly manage your weight. All you have to do is take 2 MetaboSwift capsules a day. Even though they have seaweed and cayenne pepper in them, there's no weird taste, so they're easy to take. And you can feel good about taking them too. MetaboSwift is made right here in the USA. The facility that it's made in is regularly inspected by the FDA, so you can be sure that what's on the label is what's inside the bottle. MetaboSwift is an easy and effective way to kickstart your brown fat and rev up your metabolism, helping your weight return to normal naturally. Of course, in a perfect world, we'd eat right and exercise every day, but in the real world, that doesn't always happen. So you'll begin to think of MetaboSwift as insurance for those days when you just can't eat right and exercise. Taking MetaboSwift is almost effortless. It simply becomes a part of your regular routine. And you're in luck. We've got a special discount offer for you today. MetaboSwift is fully tested and proven, but we're just now launching it to the general public. We're looking for more happy customer success stories. That's why, for the first 1,000 buyers, we're happy to offer a whopping 43% discount. The retail price is $69.95. But if you act fast, you can get it today for just $39.95. That's a full $30 off the regular price. Each bottle will last you 30 days, so you'll have peace of mind that you're doing the right thing for your body for only $1.33 a day. I know $1.33 is not a small investment for everybody, but you'll save more than that if you're buying exercise programs that don't work or spending extra money on foods that don't rev your metabolism. And if you're on medication right now, your doctor may recommend you stop taking it once you lose the weight. That will put money right back into your pocket too. I know money can be a factor, but isn't $1.33 a day worth it to have your brown fat fired up and burning away your white fat? Right now, below this video presentation, you'll see a button. When you click that button, you'll be taken to a page where you can securely place your order. If you're ready now, click the button below to get started. In case you're worried that MetaboSwift won't work for you, don't be. We've built our business to serve thousands of happy customers, and we always put our money where our mouth is. So we invite you to try MetaboSwift risk-free for a full 60 days. Here's how it works. Click the button below to order MetaboSwift today. When you receive it, start taking 2 capsules a day as directed. Then, up until 60 days from purchase, simply let us know if you feel like it's not working for you. And if that's the case, we'll give you 100% of your money back, no questions asked. As you can see, when you try MetaboSwift today, there's no risk. The only risk you have is not trying it and losing out on this special discount. Or worse, if you never try it, you may continue to endlessly struggle with your weight. Click the button below the video and place your order now. Remember, there are only 1,000 discounted bottles available to the general public, and there will be thousands watching this video. So if you want to make sure you get the discount, click the button below now. The way I see it, you're at a crossroads. On the one hand, you could simply close this video and do nothing. But do you know what happens to our metabolisms as we get older? For many of us, they slow down to a crawl. So if you do nothing to speed it up, you'll either gain more deadly fat or you'll have to work harder and harder to keep the weight off. If you don't try MetaboSwift today, chances are things will only get worse. On the other hand, let's say you do try MetaboSwift today. All you have to do is take 2 capsules a day with water. Soon you notice your body starting to change, even if the only change you've made is taking the MetaboSwift. Before long, you start to feel more energetic. You notice a newfound confidence. You have plenty of energy to power through even the toughest days. Your clothes start to feel loose, and eventually, you can slide into that old pair of jeans you haven't worn in years. Doesn't that sound like a better path to take? All you have to do is click the button below and order your bottle now. But please do so quickly. I don't want you to miss out on the discount. I want to thank you for watching this presentation today. The discovery of brown fat has been so exciting for me. I've long felt that a lot of people seemed cursed with slow metabolisms, and now we know why. Many of those people simply have too much of the protein MKK6, which keeps their thermogenin from activating their brown fat. Thanks to Bladder Rack and the other special ingredients inside MetaboSwift though, that's all easy to fix. Click the button below to secure your discounted bottle of MetaboSwift today.